Hello, this is Backstage Access, and I have to have little notes here. I'm trying to, describe what our Backstage Access is. So we're going to be starting the display on my current build. This is a D&D diorama. It's a playable diorama, so it unstacks and stuff like that. But the base, so like this is like the ground level and then subterranean levels. That I want all encased in a wood display. It's got to be thin, I don't want it to be super heavy. I had some great suggestions, make it a table that rises up. No, I can't do that, unfortunately. But I do want to have an interesting display for it. And so now I need to start thinking about it. And, look, I'm not even clear or close to being done. Here, I'm just starting the barrels back again. I reshot those because I didn't like the banding on them, and I'm not doing too much of a better job now. That one looks a lot better. But anyway, I wanted to repaint those. So I've got a lot of details to put in here, but it is a good time to start now, because if in building this and, trying to make like some of these, I don't know, but I may have like a little door that opens up so you can just see that. That's still closed because that hasn't been revealed in the storyline. Maybe this has to have doors over it, so this is, blocked so you can't see it. Because in the D&D, like the campaign, you want to be able to have surprises. You want to have, you make a choice and then your DM says, oh no, and then, you enter this next area and you don't know what's there. So it's important that the base be able to accommodate that, but also, be able to like remove areas. But I mean, I don't want it to be a mess. I don't want these little things lying all around. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to do. And again, starting now allows me to make any modifications to the diorama that I might have to make in building, the display base. So that's what's going on with the diorama. And I kind of wanted to, get that clear, because I'm not moving on from the diorama. I'm just going the next step, which is to, build the display. The next thing I want to talk about is a little bit about the woodworking side of it. So I am a woodworker. I'm probably more versed in woodworking than diorama building, to be completely honest. I've been doing it longer. I've been diorama building for about 7 or 8 years, I think, but I've been a woodworker for 30 and a model builder, all my life. But it wasn't like this. It was, I wasn't building big, huge, humongo dioramas and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't doing that. I would build, okay, so there's a U-boat and it is in very bad disrepair and needs to be worked on. But the point is, I've been doing, miniature building and woodworking for a long time. So I don't know why I went off on a tangent. I'm trying to impress you, maybe. I don't know. But what I'm doing here is I'm getting this wood ready. And, if you're going to build something out of raw wood, meaning that it's not got any kind of finish on it, it's not pre-finished, which you can buy now. This is solid wood. It's not like pre-sanded. It's not from your home center store. You can get bulk wood there, but it's usually oak or something like that. This is some really nice wood. There's some maple over there. This is the maple. And this is sapele. And so this is typically something you would buy at a specialty store. And to prepare this kind of wood, what you want to do is let it acclimate to your environment. So the humidity level in here obviously has a lot to do with the time of year, but the temperature in here, I try to keep it constant. There's no open moisture. There's not a lot of breezes. So anyway, the wood kind of gets used to this environment. And by doing that, what you do is you avoid warpage when you start to, use it. If you go and you buy wood like this, raw lumber, and you bring it home and you start cutting it and you start building it into something, there's a high likelihood it will warp on you and change because, you know, the process of working with the wood, you're exposing new fibers to the air that were previously covered because you either like planed this surface down, and that's what I did to this wood. I used a planer, which is that yellow machine right there. That's a planer. And what it does is it takes a big wide knife and it, on a rotating drum, and it's cutting like this as you're feeding this through that machine, and it takes the whole surface off. Well, what you're doing there on this piece of wood is you're exposing new fibers to the air. And so that means they're going to react. If there's a lot of moisture in the air and not a lot of moisture in the wood, what it can do is it can swell up. It can absorb moisture. If there's a lot of moisture in the wood and not a lot of moisture in the air, it can lose moisture and it can shrink. So your wood actually needs to acclimate. It depends on what you're doing with it. Of course, if you're just cutting it lengthwise here from the home center store, it's perfectly fine. It's not going to really do anything. But taking it through and making it, you know, thinner or edging it to make it flat, you know, all these actions, you need to let it rest. So that's what's happened here. I've planed this pile of maple, planed that yesterday, and so it needs to rest. This is the sapele. I cut this down to size. This was actually 3 big, huge boards. I've had some of this wood for 10 years. And this I did a little bit different. I did not plane it yet, you know, to take off this surface, but I did cut it lengthwise. That can also release stresses in the wood because you're exposing the edges that haven't been exposed to air before. So I'm letting it sit. It's probably going to sit a week. You can let it sit a couple of weeks. It has been in the shop for a number of years, so that's a positive. This has been in the shop for 10 years. This has been in the shop for, I'd say, 6 months. You can feel that it's a little bit more moist. I've got a moisture meter, but you can just feel, you know, it's a little bit moist. So this is moisture or has more moisture in it than this. It's thinner. They'll all equalize, and I'm trying to get too thick into it, and I really don't need to. The basic point being is let your wood rest. It's going to help it not warp when you work with it, and that's what stage we're in now. So now the amount of wood that I have, I don't even know because I've filmed this so many times if I've talked about this, but the amount of wood that I have here is certainly not for that little diorama stand. What it's for is this big blank area over my my model building bench. What I plan to do is build a shelf. You know, in the spring, I tore a bunch of shelves out of there and kind of repaired the wall. It was just terrible. There was like all these holes in it and, you know, torn paint. And so I repainted it and got it all nice and pretty. And I've been just kind of waiting for this inspiration of what I want to build there. The goal is to have a shelf or a display cabinet for my dioramas. You know, I've got some dioramas over here in that little, you know, cabinet up there with no glass in it. And I can't see them. Now, I am going to go to the ceiling, but I'm not going to have the base of it so high. So I do believe I'll be able to see them a lot better than in that cabinet. The other thing is, because I do have some very tall dioramas, I want to have something where I can have, you know, this up there. I can take it down, it's accessible, but I need a place to store these things where I can see them and not have the chance of them being damaged, you know, inside the shop. The shop is a working shop. I don't do as much woodworking anymore. I'm getting older and my back and knees, I just can't do it. But it is great when I can. And I do a few projects a year. I do mostly all, you know, diorama building. That's my passion now. But I still love woodworking, so I do it every once in a while. And I just love it. But yeah, I can't do it a lot. So I want to get this thing done. I want to get those shelves built up there. I want to get this thing designed. Sorry, I'm trying to show you the diorama. I want to get that thing designed in such a way that it has some interesting little things in the base where you can open doors or you can slide stuff open. Yeah, I, again, haven't figured it out yet. But I want the display as interesting as the diorama is. I think one of the other things I was going to show you is the need or the reason for this. See that? That is my diorama Wolfenstein. And I just think it's a dang dirty shame that it's under a plastic bag on the floor, tucked away. It's semi-protected, but not. I mean, I am certainly very careful with it. This is just I literally set this on here today. Very, very carefully sitting on top there, you know, is the power supply for it. This stuff kind of breaks my heart. I am building these so I can look at them. I want them on display. It's not just to build it for a show. It is so that I can look at them and I can't see Wolfenstein when it's there. So that's, again, the reason for the shelves over there. Okay, so that's it. That's kind of all I wanted to do. I filmed this like 5 times trying to get this so it's acceptable. And I hope you enjoy it. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear, you know, ideas about the base of this. One of the things I have thought about is make this thing freestanding like I did my World War I trench diorama. It's in here. I really love the way I did this, where the display is just basically legs, you know. And I really like that. I think it's fun. I mean, I can go and set this anywhere. It needs a cover, you know, just to keep it nice. But I really like the idea of just having legs. Now this, because it's an octagon, it would have 8 legs. But there's some interesting stuff in doing that too. So maybe this needs to be, you know, just like you see it here, height-wise, because it's got legs, like I did on my last diorama. I don't know. I want to come up with something that's fun, and again, you know, helps the diorama be an interesting piece to play on and also just to look at. So anyway, that is what I got going on. I hope you are doing wonderfully. I am going to do this kind of stuff, and I will post this on Patreon tonight, and then it'll go up on YouTube for Saturday. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see ya.